All right, so I want to talk about Micah Parsons here. Brian Broaddus described Micah Parsons' demeanor as a, quote, not really engaging with anybody type of attitude, played a lot in coverage, moved around quite a bit. Here's the thing. I believe that Micah Parsons and Mike Zimmer are going to get along very well. I think they're going to have a great relationship. Will there be friction at times? Of course, there'll be friction at times. These are two very strong personalities. These are two guys that are very good at what they do. But that's fine. That's not a problem that there's friction between the two if there's going to be that. You see that with Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. Two guys that are great at what they do. Two guys that are very accomplished. It's going to be the case. But the reason why Micah Parsons and Mike Zimmer will get along with each other is because Mike Zimmer will get the absolute best out of Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons will understand that the hard coaching that he's going to receive from Mike Zimmer is going to be for the best for him and his career. Mike Zimmer is going to get the best out of Micah Parsons. And not only that, I believe that Micah Parsons under Mike Zimmer will win Defensive Player of the Year. You're going to see more of what they did with Micah Parsons his rookie season under Mike Zimmer, where he's playing some off-ball linebacker and he's playing some defensive end. That was when Micah Parsons was at his most effective. And when we hear that these guys in the secondary are forcing the quarterbacks to hold on to the football for a second longer, guess what? That's going to lead to 3 to 7 more sacks for Micah Parsons. If you add 3 to 7 more sacks to Micah Parsons' sack total and he gets up there to that 20 sack number, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. On top of the fact that when he's playing as an off-ball linebacker, he's going to be making plays against the run. He's going to be having tackles for losses. He's going to be forcing fumbles. He's going to have a big year this year. And I think he's going to understand that Mike Zimmer put him in the best position to succeed. And I believe that Mike Zimmer does a very good job working with stars. I don't believe that Mike Zimmer is a guy who likes to isolate people that he might not be on the same page with. I believe he wants to get on the same page as his superstars. He understands how to deal with different personalities, and he understands which guys get motivated by certain things. Okay, so because of that, I think Micah Parsons is going to have a big time year. And man, that money he's going to command at the end of the season it's going to be real. It's going to be crazy. But I don't want to get into contract talks. We talked about that plenty during the offseason. But I want to talk about this not really engaging with anybody attitude that Micah Parsons has. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure that his relationship with his teammates is as great as we might want to think it is. I do think that there's some tension in that locker room towards Micah Parsons. And I do think some of it stems towards that podcast. And I don't believe it's because he has a podcast. There's guys in every sport that have a podcast. And I think it's the content that he talks about within the podcast, right? He's essentially like an analyst in these podcasts. Right? Like he'll make top 5 lists. You hear him on with Jordan Love and he'll say something like, Jordan Love will say something about the Cowboys secondary and Micah Parsons said, yeah, for sure. And then you see one of his teammates, I believe it was Jordan Lewis. Don't quote me, but I think it was Jordan Lewis, but it was one of his teammates that said, for sure, ? It's just like, I do think that there's some tension between him and his teammates. And I don't think it's anything serious. I don't think it's anything that is going to derail this season. It's probably something that just needs to be talked about with his teammates. And I think it's not going to get in the way of this defense being very successful. I don't think it's that deep. There's things within other locker rooms that's like, oh no, that is legitimately deep stuff, and they're not going to get over that. I don't think that that's the case with Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is a great guy. I think he is very smart, but there are some things that kind of rub people the wrong way. And I think that, because of that, he kind of puts a target on himself from the fans, maybe some of his teammates as well. And that not really engaging with anybody attitude, it did perk my ears a bit and make me say, is there something going on here? And I do think there is, but I don't think it's anything that's going to be a hindrance to Micah Parsons' play. As a matter of fact, I think that this actually might cause Micah Parsons to play at an even higher level than we might expect him to play at, because I think he has something to prove this season, which is a great thing for great players like Micah Parsons when they feel like they have something to prove. And that's part of the reason why I think Micah Parsons is going to have such a great year. So, it's great to hear that they're asking him to do more off-ball linebacker stuff, because I kind of feel like that's his natural position. I know there's this debate between, should you play him at linebacker, should you play him at edge? I think you should play him at both, but good things from Micah Parsons for sure. And I expect big things from him this season.